Let's play a game. I'm gonna make an argument for why Skypiea is actually the most important arc in One Piece. And then you in the comments gonna tell me why I'm crazy. Let's start off with the saga, the Skypiea saga. Some people add Jaya in as its own arc, and some people just say Skypiea and they include Jaya. If you're one of those people that adds Jaya in as Skypiea, we starting off strong. Blackbeard's introduction. One of the final villains, if not the final villain, is either him or Emu, at least. We know that's where the story going. Speculation, we know that's where the story going. Blackbeard or Emu, or maybe both, one of the two gonna be the final villain. When they get to Raftail, or wherever the final war is gonna take place, we know if Emu's not there, Blackbeard is definitely gonna be there. And they both might be there. Blackbeard's introduction happens on Jaya. The little dialogue with Blackbeard, Luffy, and Zoro that everybody speculates, what did they mean exactly? When Nami said he, and Zoro and Luffy was like, not he, more like they. Foreshadowing of what true behind Blackbeard's body might actually be, with him being able to have two devil fruits. Strong introduction to a final villain happens in Jaya. That amazing parallel between him and Luffy, two sides of the same coin. Also in introductions, we also got Whitebeard's introduction when Rockstar pulled up on Whitebeard and offered him the meeting with Shanks. That happened somewhere in Skypiea. If you remove Skypiea, we gotta find a new way to introduce Whitebeard. That introduction was pretty damn important. At this time, Whitebeard, all we knew was he was known as the world's strongest man, and he got introduced as this old man hooked up in wires, showing us the parallel. Maybe he wasn't the world's strongest at the time. There's something to think about. That's not one of the major points, but just a little nugget in there. In Jaya, we have maybe the second most satisfying punch in One Piece, when Luffy punches Bellamy for the first time. I've never wanted Luffy to punch someone so much in One Piece to that point. Other than the Celestial Dragon, I've never wanted Luffy to punch someone so bad and so hard than how much I wanted to punch Bellamy. And what made it different from the Celestial Dragon punch, we got that damn near instant gratification. We had to wait for Bellamy to get his punch in. Remember, he beat up Luffy all of that day, he left. They was with Mont Blanc Cricket doing their thing, and Luffy had to go all the way back. So we had to wait a while to get that one off. And when we got it, ooh, it was so satisfying. The print in his face, sit him down one punch. One of the most satisfying moments in One Piece to this day. Top 15 for sure. On to Skypiea itself, the main arc. One of my main points, other than the Blackbeard introduction. Other stuff, the punch and the Whitebeard stuff, is little caveats. Blackbeard is a major point. That's one of the final villains. His introduction was important and is important to the future of the show. Everybody loves One Piece world building and think they're the best. I think Skypiea has the most world building in One Piece. The arc that expanded the world of One Piece the most to this day is Skypiea. Learning about Sky Islands, islands in the sky, was major. The knock-up stream, not so much major, but just another cool nugget, one of the weird One Piece Grand Line things. But expanding the world of not only the Blue Sea, the islands that we know, but also having islands in the sky was major when it comes to world building. And not only that, knowing from Enel that One Piece, we could get to the moon. And then following the cover stories of Enel on the moon, we knew that One Piece and their characters can get to the moon. And we learned that out in Skypiea. Our system of the world is a big part of how the world functions and is actually a part of world building. And where was the first time we got a full introduction to Haki under the name Mandra, with an explanation and starting to dive deep into Haki? We know what Haki is now. We know what Haki became now. We have all the advanced forms and all of that. We started that in Skypiea. The power of the new world was first introduced in Skypiea. Enel with the observation Haki, major. I was major. We thought Enel was he can read minds? And how he used it, he was reading people's minds from miles away. Hearing thoughts from miles away. That was major expansion to the show and the world of One Piece. While talking about observation hockey, Nolan and his backstory. Nolan heard the voice of all things. The first person we saw in the story to hear the voice of all things was Nolan. When he was deep at sea, he heard the bell. None of his other crewmates can hear the bell, and he was definitely way too far and shouldn't have been able to hear the bell, but he still heard the bell. How is that possible? The voice of all things, with the bell drawing him to the island of Jai in the first place. So the first time we had the idea of the voice of all things, Skypiea. We in the anime, we in Wano, and we're seeing Gear 5, and that's fresh and hype, and everybody is talking about it. You love it, you hate it. But what arc foreshadowed Gear 5 the most? Now we know. Skypiea, the introduction of the idea of a sun god. Now that we see Gear 5 and we know the importance of that, leading back to the roots. Where did that come from? Where did the first idea was planted in? Skypiea. We got introduced to dials, tone dials, impact dials. You enjoyed Luffy versus Usopp? Want to know one of the big reasons why Usopp was able to make that fight so interesting? He had that dial. What dials did for Usopp characters, or how Usopp was able to utilize them dials moving forward that he got in Skypiea and is native to Skypiea that we know of, was amazing. You like Usopp and his Black Kabuto? Were you hyped when Usopp came and saved Robin right at the end, right before she was about to be taken into the gates of justice, and Usopp from an impossible distance away, sniping. There's like, who's shooting and where he's shooting from? How is he shooting from so far away? With a slingshot. Usopp incorporated the dials in his Black Kabuto. Skypiea Arc was great for Usopp. Amazing for Usopp. With them dials and his progression and being able to fight. And don't get me started on the Mary and the Mary coming to life with the spirit of the Mary fixing the ship. That plot line also started, that bled into Mary burning and coming to save them in Enies Lobby. You first saw that in Skypiea. Did you also feel a Robin I want to live moment? Because if you did, then if you trace back that plot line, you know it leads you to Skypiea. Skypiea was the arc and the adventure and the journey Robin had that made her want to live again. When she left Alabasta, she was still in her down, dark mode. She didn't start accepting the Straw Hats and the idea of life yet. And then she went to Skypiea and saw the ruins of Jaya and the old stone. The archaeologist in her came alive again. And she beat the shit out of that priest for messing around with them rocks. And then she saw a poneglyph that told us the location of one of the 3 ancient weapons, Poseidon. We knew, or Robin knew, where Poseidon was from Skypiea, from that poneglyph, and the message Roger left behind. That was also in Skypiea. That was like the first and the only, to this point, direct contact the characters I've had with Roger. Yeah, so y'all need to bring your arguments and put it in the comment section, because I'm on this hill for now. Skypiea, the most important arc in One Piece. You enjoy the Sunny, you love the Sunny, you love how strong the Sunny is, that special wood it's made from. You know where that money came from? Go from Skypiea that Usopp lost, that Frankie got to steal to buy that wood to make that ship. Plotline from Skypiea. You know what arc we found out that Sanji was from the North Blue in? Skypiea. You know what arc Zoro first used slashing attacks in?
Yeah. I know that you gon' say, 'cause you need something real, for real.